thermodynamics and kinetics of engineering materials. And today we discuss about basic equations in thermodynamics. So that is first I can write I'll start from here. I can write the first law. Here I can write the second law. And I can write the third law. And this one, if anybody remember, the first law basically tells about the energy. Energy is basically internal energy. Talks about basically the internal energy. Right? If you remember, that is denoted by U. Right? So I can write the expression over here. And if you remember, the work and the heat are also form of energy. Right? If you remember the earlier classes, work is also a form of energy, heat is also a form of energy. Right? And if you remember the enthalpy means it is heat at constant pressure, reversible work. Right? Already we have derived the equation. So that means in the first law, I want to relate internal energy, enthalpy, heat, and work. Right? Heat is form of energy. Yes. Right? Work is also form of energy now. Right? Internal energy is energy now itself, and enthalpy is also in the one form of heat, but at constant pressure. So I want to correlate everything, right? So that means I can write H is equal to U plus EG. Enthalpy, internal energy, pressure volume. Pressure volume is the work. Right? Pressure volume is the work. This is the internal energy, this is enthalpy. Right? So in this way I can write simply the first law. Second law. Second law basically talks about entropy, if you remember. Right? And already we have discussed about the free energy also. We have also talked about the application of free energy in solidification, in other processes also, right? So I want to relate now free energy and entropy. So I would write an equation where there is a relationship between free energy and entropy. That is very easy, you know that. It talks about basically entropy. That is, we know that. So this will be G is equal to H minus E, right? Where G is the free energy, H is the enthalpy, T is the temperature, S is the entropy, right? So I am relating free energy with entropy, and this is, I can say, second law expression. And if you remember, what is this? Free energy is nothing but what is free energy? Anybody remember? Energy available in the system, right? Which can be used to do some useful work, right? That's it is free. It is freely available in the system, and that energy will be helpful to do some work, right? So it is free energy. Some energy is available, freely available. Right? Anyway, okay, fine. So, and this is this, right? T is this one. And entropy. Entropy is what exactly? Entropy may be thermal. Entropy may be thermal entropy, or it may be configuration. Two types of entropy we can have in a system. Right? Thermal entropy will be always there in a system, but if you go to a temperature of 0 degree Kelvin, which is the lowest temperature possible, right? But can we go to that much of temperature? Never. We cannot. We have no system. We have no we have no device, right? We cannot go to 0 degree Kelvin. That is the lowest temperature possible, right? So at 0 degree Kelvin, the thermal entropy will be 0, right? So this third law is saying that. Third law is saying about entropy value. The magnitude of entropy or entropy value, right? Basically it talks about thermal entropy. Thermal entropy means the entropy which is related to the temperature, right? Thermal energy, temperature, right? If temperature will be there, what will be the entropy? It is thermal entropy, right? So you understand that means if it is talking about the value of entropy with relation to the temperature, so it will be, I can write S will tends to 0, condition applied when T will tends to 0 degree Kelvin, right? A simple way. That means above 0 degree Kelvin there will be always entropy. That is thermal entropy, right? It may be like minus 30 degrees centigrade, minus 40, minus 90, minus 195. Temperature will be very low, but still thermal entropy will be there anyhow. It may be negligible one, but it will be there. But if you go to completely 0 degree Kelvin, there will be no thermal entropy. Right? So, and this one, configurational entropy. This entropy is due to configuration, right? So how configuration will be there? Suppose you are dealing with a pure metal, right? Suppose I am talking about pure copper, for example. If I am talking about pure copper, if you carefully look at each atom of the copper, it is copper only, right? Everywhere copper is there. But the moment if you add some impurity or any alloying element, suppose nickel, I will add suppose 1% nickel into the copper. Now what will happen to the nickel? Nickel will go and sit in the site of copper. It will form what? Substitution salt solution. You remember? Nickel will substitute the copper and it will sit over there. So anywhere it can sit, right? There will be lot of configuration. Copper may sit in first position, it may sit in last, it may sit in middle, or anywhere it may sit. So for each configuration, you have a configurational entropy. You understand that? For different configuration, we have different configurational entropy, right? So it is simply clear that above 0 degree Kelvin, if you are dealing with a pure metal, you will be having only thermal entropy, right? But if you are dealing with a alloy or a mixture, then you will be having both entropies, thermal entropy and configurational entropy, right? So in other way I can say simply, if you are above 0 degree Kelvin and you are dealing with a pure element or pure metal, then configurational entropy will be 0. Only thermal entropy will be there. It is okay, right? So thermal entropy is basically for pure element or pure metal. But for this configurational entropy, for alloy or mixture, right? So this one, configurational entropy for pure element, that is equal to, right? For a pure element, configurational entropy always 0. Right? And this is also for alloy mixture. Now the question is, why above 0 degree Kelvin we have thermal entropy? That is a question, for example. Obviously, entropy exactly means what? Anybody remember the definition in the BTech from BTech? Randomness of a system. It is a degree of randomness actually. Degree of randomness may be low, may be high, may be medium, right? So if the degree of randomness is very high, so it is very high entropy. It may be less. That's, we basically talked about those thermal entropy. That's right. Anyways, so that means you understand above 0 degree Kelvin, what will happen? If that means temperature is rising, right? So what will happen? The vibration starts. Inside a lattice or inside a material, vibration starts. Atom always vibrate along its mean position, if you remember from physics, right? If molecules they also vibrate. If you rise the temperature, system vibrates, atoms moves randomly, vibrations will be there, right? So that means if temperature rises means it's above 0 degree Kelvin, what will happen? Vibrations will be there. Temperature increases, vibration increases, right? If vibration increases, what will happen? Cp value increases. Then Cp value increases. What is Cp? Specific heat. Only specific heat at constant pressure. Or heat capacity. Heat capacity at constant pressure. Anybody remember the definition of heat capacity? Sorry, can you repeat? Amount of energy or amount of heat? It is heat capacity. Right? It is heat capacity. Cp is the heat capacity at constant pressure. Right? So that means if you are keeping the pressure constant, and you are rising you are giving some heat to the material, and if there will be 1 degree rise in temperature, suppose initially it was 14 degrees centigrade, right? The material temperature was 14 degrees centigrade, and you are giving a heat, you are supplying heat, and temperature becomes 15 degrees centigrade. So that amount of heat will be Cp, right? Heat capacity at constant pressure, right? And that is fixed or it is variable. Heat capacity fixed. Are you sure about that? It is fixed. It is not fixed, right? Heat capacity Cp is not fixed. It is variable, right? It depends upon the material, which kind of materials you are dealing with. Some materials have high Cp value, some materials have low Cp value, right? Some materials maybe if it is in different phase, suppose it is in liquid, it is in solid, it has also different Cp value. Same material but different phase. If it is in gas, Cp value also change. So Cp value is not constant, it is variable. It varies with different metals. Suppose you are talking about steel and aluminium, Cp value changes. If you are talking about liquid steel, solid steel and gaseous steel, it also be different. Right? Cp value is not fixed, it is variable. It depends upon the phase and it depends upon the material, kind of material you are going to use. Anyway, so you understand, so when the temperature rises from 0 degree Kelvin, vibrations increases. If vibration increases, Cp value also increases. And once Cp value will increase, that will affect your enthalpy. So enthalpy also increases if Cp value increases. I will show you the relation. I know you understand, you know all the relationship anyway. But once heat capacity at constant pressure increases, enthalpy also increases. And once enthalpy increases, entropy also increases.
Cp increases means more amount of heat required to increase the temperature 1 degree.
Yes.
How is it possible? 1 degree means.
Suppose you are dealing with a liquid aluminium. Liquid aluminium. Suppose you are dealing with 700 degrees centigrade liquid aluminium, and you have to supply some heat so that it becomes 701 degrees centigrade, for example. Right? And if aluminium is at room temperature 30 degrees centigrade, and you want to make it 31, you can measure it. You will get the answer. 30 to 31 will be easy. It will take place to become 30 to 31. But once it is in liquid form, like it is suppose 700 degrees centigrade to 700 to 701 degrees centigrade, you need more heat. Right? Because already atoms are far away in the liquid state. Right? It is liquid now. Initially it was solid. Solid atoms are very close. Right? So if it will be close, vibrations will be more, and Cp value will be more, and enthalpy will be more, and entropy will be more. This is a relationship you have to remember. Right? If there is a confusion, I want to relate Cp, H and S now. Because the topic is thermodynamic expressions. Right? You understood this up to this concept? Right? Now, shall I erase this one? Okay. I'll write only. when dH is equal to Cp dt, right? You got the relationship. That means if Cp will increase, dH will increase obviously. I can write H is equal to 0 to T Cp dt. Fine? Very simple. This is one. And if I want to relate entropy and enthalpy, then I can write d S is equal to Q by T. This is equal to T, small t times T, Q by T. Right? ds is equal to Q by T. And if you remember, this is the QP. If this is from QP, heat at constant pressure, so it will become fine. Heat at constant pressure, reversible work is dH enthalpy, right? It's okay, the relationship you understood? Fine. Now, if I want to relate this one and this one, now Cp and entropy relation. So what I can write? ds will be equal to Cp dt, Cp dt by T, right? This will be capital T beta, no? Because these are temperature, not time. It is okay, no? Cp dt by T. You understand the relationship? ds is equal to Cp dt by T. If I want to find out S, S will be equal to integral 0 to T Cp dt by T. Fine. So I have written all the expressions. So you can see that means Cp is related to entropy, Cp is also related to enthalpy. So Cp will increase, then enthalpy will increase, entropy will increase, right? And entropy is related to enthalpy also. Right? That's why this is the relationship. So I will start with 0 degree Kelvin. My material has 0 entropy. That is thermal entropy. I am talking about a pure element or pure metal. Pure element, pure metal have only thermal entropy. That is 0 at 0 degree Kelvin. Because there is no vibrations. Vibrations are 0 completely. So once I will rise the temperature from 0 degree Kelvin to higher temperature, what happens? Vibration starts. The atoms may move, the molecules may move, they will vibrate. Once vibration starts, Cp will increase. Right? Once Cp will increase, enthalpy will increase. Once enthalpy will increase, entropy will increase. It is okay. So this is a simple relationship. People may ask why entropy will increase if you rise the temperature. So you can put this relationship and you can show these equations, how they are related. Fine. So now, okay. So now if you want, I want to erase it. This is done. I want to erase this one. If somebody will ask, suppose, how to make a plot between, so this is a plot, you can say temperature versus Cp. I told Cp is not constant, heat capacity at constant pressure is not constant, it depends on temperature, right? So this is how the relationship will be. Can you tell me it will start from here or where? If this is 0 degree Kelvin, for example, see, 0 degree Kelvin. So it will start from this point, because Cp will be 0, no? Vibration should be 0 at 0 degree Kelvin. So Cp will be 0 obviously. So it starts from 0, and what I told, with temperature it will increase, and finally it will reach to a maximum value. This maximum value is called 3R. Right? So you can see with when temperature increases, when initial temperature was 0 degree Kelvin, the Cp value is 0. Why? Because no vibrations, 0 vibrations. 0 vibration, no Cp. So once you rise the temperature, then it increases goes to the maximum value and finally reaches to the constant type of thing, and it becomes 3R. So 3R is the maximum CP value, right? This is the graph, S kind of graph, S. And if somebody asks to draw entropy versus temperature, this is the temperature. Again, this is 0 degree Kelvin, and this is entropy. How it will be? Same, right? Because entropy depends on Cp indirectly. You see the relation. So again, it will be, but there will be a change. There will be something different. It will not reach to the 3R value, right? It will go. It will rise. But you can see the slope. Initially, the slope was higher. This is a higher slope. But at a higher temperature, the slope will be not increasing. It will decrease. It is constant. It is maximum value, but it will not reach a maximum value. It will rise. Why can anybody guess? Why it will not go to the maximum value? It will rise, but the slope will decrease. You can see the slope. Here the slope is like this, very high slope, but here the slope is decreasing. If you will move, the slope will be decreasing, but here the slopes are very high.
Sir, in CP test also the slope is decreasing.
Yeah, you can say decreasing, but it's just the maximum value. That means you want to find out ds by dt. Obviously, rate of change of entropy with respect to temperature. Okay, we'll see that. What will happen to ds by dt? That means rate of change of entropy with respect to temperature, right? So you understand ds by dt will be always positive, negative, or zero. Just have a look. Positive, obviously. Entropy can never be negative. Entropy may be 0 or it may be positive. 0 means at 0 degree Kelvin, right? And if the temperature is higher than 0 degree Kelvin, it will be always positive. But rate of change may be increased initially, maybe further it may not be decreased, but slope will be somewhat decreasing slope, right? So ds by dt is always the positive value. It will never be negative, either 0 or a positive. Anyways, we'll see that. So, okay, fine. If I want to draw a plot to show this one, suppose, okay, so this is like temperature and enthalpy. Temperature versus enthalpy. So you have to remember one important point. Enthalpy at 298 Kelvin. Anybody remember what will be the temperature in degree centigrade? 298 Kelvin. 25 nearly, right? That is room temperature. Room temperature. Basically, very good. 298 Kelvin is considered to be normal atmospheric pressure temperature. Or standard. Standard or normal? STP. I think standard. Maybe you can check it. I don't remember exactly. Anyways, so enthalpy at 298 degree Kelvin consider as 0. We take the reference. You have to remember. That is the reference. That means at 298 degree Kelvin, the enthalpy of material will be 0. But material should be in standard state. Then only. If material will be not in standard state, it will be not 0. But basically we assume materials are in standard states and enthalpy at 298 degree will be 0. And that is 32 degrees centigrade. But the temperature may be less than 32 also. 32 degrees centigrade or below 298. So what will happen to the enthalpy? It will become negative, obviously, very good. It will become negative. Right? If you go below this 298 degree Kelvin, the enthalpy will be negative. And it will go to a minimum value at the end. So how will the graph? So suppose this is 298 degree Kelvin. So the graph will be, can anybody guess? It will go down and this is to a minimum value and above this one to rise. At 298 there is an intersection. This is a 0 state. This one is 0 degree. Sorry, this one is like 290. This one is the 290 degree Kelvin, right? So below 290 degree Kelvin, it will be negative. Above 290, it will be positive. Okay? So this is the enthalpy curve. So these are the curves you remember. Now, let's see. Suppose I talk about some configurational entropy. Configuration. Configurational entropy. And I already told you that configurational entropy will be seen when we have an alloy or we have a mixture, or when we are not dealing with a pure element or pure metal, right? It is basically written like this: delta S configuration, right? That is equal to K ln W. Yeah, you remember that. Very good. K ln W. K is Boltzmann constant, and that is log W. W is, anybody remember? Sorry? Measure of tenderness. Okay, this is microscale for a given microscale. Or the number of configuration, as I told. We can have a lot of configurations if we have 2 elements or 3 elements. You understand? More will be the number of elements, more will be the number of configurations. You can arrange them in a different way, right? That is W actually. So microstate for a given macrostate. Macrostate means what? Macrostate means macro variables. Macro variables never change, like volume, temperature, pressure. That will not affect it, right? Temperature, pressure, volume, mass, that will not get basically affected. But the configuration will change. You can have lot of configurations, arrangements. So that is W, K and W. This is volume constant, right? If you further, like if you evaluate or if you go for further expressions, this will be like delta S configuration will be minus R x a
epsilon
epsilon
x plus
plus
xb ln
xb non xb, right? So this is for a binary component. That means, as I told, copper and nickel, 2 things are there. So in that condition, this will be a formula, right? What is Xa? There is a mole fraction of A, and this will be mole fraction of B. 2 components are involved. So this is for 2 components. So if you have multiple components, the expression will be changed. Delta X configuration will be minus R summation of I is equal to 1 to n. Then this will be x xi log xi. Okay, fine. This is a configuration entropy. Okay. So now, and very interesting point I would like to say. If you remember, suppose, okay, nickel based superalloy. Nickel based superalloy. Anybody have any idea about this? Superalloy means those alloys which can sustain high temperature, right? They have very good creep resistance, they have very good oxidation and corrosion resistance, right? And they have good melting point, not very high but good melting points. That means those alloys can be used at a high temperature applications, like in aircraft engines, engine of the aircraft, turbine blades, right? Because you are firing hot gases or you are firing steam at very high temperature and pressure. So the things should be have high creep resistance, high oxidation and corrosion resistance, right? And also it has fatigue resistance also. So those are superalloy. Nickel based superalloys means nickel is the main base metal, and you have adding some alloying elements. If you look at this nickel based superalloy, there is a compound, or you can say there is a phase, that is Ni3A. Have you ever heard of this? Ni3A compound? Metallurgy people, you have heard this one? Ni3A. Right? This is what exactly? That means in that nickel based superalloy, this will be a compound. This is actually a precipitate. Right? This is a precipitate, Ni3A. And this is a ordered compound. So once this is an ordered compound, conformation and entropy will be 0. It is ordered. Right? You know what is ordered compound means? Nickel is FCC. Aluminum is also FCC, right? So that means you will be having a structure of FCC. You have a FCC lattice, right? In the FCC lattice, the atoms will be at the corner positions, right? And at the center of the each face. 6 faces are there. You might know. You know these structures. Okay, anyway, let me draw it while speaking. No? Just have a look. Sometimes go through those IBM class notes. It is in the YouTube. Yeah. So this is important actually. If you are studying metallurgy, you should know about the structures, crystal structures. Right? So you see, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. FCC means phase center cubic. Phase center cubic. Right? This is a cube. That means this is a unit cell. This is a unit cell, right? If you are talking about a crystal, big crystal, it will contain a smallest unit, which will repeat and it will become a crystal. That smallest unit will justify all the entire crystal will be justified by this smallest unit. That is called unit cell. So this is a FCC unit cell. FCC unit cell means this is phase center cubic. So it is a cube. Cube have 8 corners. So in 8 corners, one atoms will be sitting, right? So you can see all the atoms are seated in corner positions of the cube, and one atom will be at the phase center position. This is 1, 2. So this is 3. This one is 4 and 5 and 6. And it is okay. Then each phase center is having 1 atom. So if suppose this is nickel and this one is aluminum, right? So this is your order, because nickel has preferentially occupied only corner positions and aluminum has preferentially occupied only face center positions. So this is ordered. Disordered means if nickel will occupy corner as well as face center and aluminum will also occupy face center and corner, then again it becomes disordered. So that means if it is disordered, you are dealing with a conformational entropy. But if it is ordered, the conformational entropy will be 0. No conformational entropy. So best example of ordered compound is Ni3A, which is seen in nickel based superalloy, right? So that is 0 conformational entropy, that means. But it will be having some what entropy? Thermal entropy. It is okay, right? Some thermal entropy will be there because temperature is above 0 degree Celsius. But since this is ordered, so conformational entropy is 0. You should not be confused. You might be confused, 2 different elements is present, so it should have some conformational entropy, but it will be not having because of ordered arrangement. Fine?
So why it is ordered, sir?
Sorry?
So why it is ordered?
Why it is ordered? Because that is the nature of that particular compound, Ni3A. Suppose if you rise the temperature, then it may again become disordered. So this ordering and disordering is a phase transformation. Order to disorder phase transformation. It happens depend upon the temperature. If you rise the temperature, maybe again it become disorder. Beta brass, best example is beta brass. Beta brass is 50% copper, 50%. Brass is an alloy of what? Copper and zinc, right? So 50% atomic percent copper, 50% atomic percent zinc will be there, and they will take a like the lattice will be like BCC kind of thing, body centered cubic. Atoms will be at the corners and at the body centered position, right? Body centered cubic, right? So that means if something happens like copper will occupy the corner positions, also copper will occupy the body centered positions. Same thing happens. Zinc will occupy the corner positions and zinc will occupy the body centered positions. So it is a disorder. But if you consider it low temperature, like above 460, it becomes disorder. Below 460, it becomes again order. That means copper will occupy only corner positions and body center will be occupied by the zinc. Right? So it depends on the temperature. If you change the temperature, order becomes disorder.
High temperature does have the confusion.
Obviously, it depends on the temperature, as I told, right? And if you are talking about temperature again, then obviously some thermal entropy will be there, right? It's okay up to this, anyways. And another best example is ionic compounds. Ionic compounds. Ionic compound like NaCl, best example, sodium chloride. The common salt, right? Sodium chloride. It is a crystal also. Sodium chloride is a crystal. It is a ionic compound, right? So that means if you carefully look at the chlorine atoms, it will be always surrounded by sodium atoms. Or basically it is an ionic compound, means sodium ions will be there, chlorine ions will be there. So sodium ions will be always surrounded by chlorine ions, and if you choose any chlorine ions, it will always surrounded by sodium ions. Right? Any ions if you choose, it will be surrounded by opposite ions. To maintain a charge neutrality, obviously. It is a neutral, right? So that means it is again ordered. Actually, I am not going into details. Sodium ions and chlorine ions. So there will be a sublattice of sodium ions. There will be a sublattice of chlorine ions. And sodium ions will be always surrounded by chlorine ions. Chlorine ions will be always surrounded by sodium ions. It will form an ordered structure again. So conservation entropy will be 0 again. Two things are there, sodium and chlorine, but still conservation entropy is 0 because of orderness. Right? There is no randomness. Anyways, so this is some examples I have given. And if you have to remember, this compound is very interesting because for this compound you are getting very high strength. In this nickel-based superalloy, you are getting very high strength because of this Ni3 layer. It is an ordered compound. This is called, this technical name is gamma prime. This is called gamma prime precipitate. The strengthening is precipitation strengthening. Metallurgy people know what is precipitation. We can have different kind of strengthening, solid solution strengthening, precipitation strengthening, transformation strengthening, right? Anything else? Yeah. Grain boundary strengthening. So precipitation strengthening. This is the precipitation strengthening. Anyway, so now entropy. Okay, now I am going to very interesting graph. Just have a look. Okay, before moving into that, let me use some expressions. Again, some expressions. That is, actually, anybody remember Maxwell equation? Very famous equation in thermodynamics. Maxwell.
Yes, sir.
Remember? Oh, you remember that? How? Oh, PTSD. Okay, you might have studied in PTSD. Very good. Anyway, you remember those equations. What is it? PdP minus SdP. Can you derive that expression? Excellent. Okay, fine. So I can do like what? I can take, okay, Maxwell. Okay, anyways. Okay, I can write G is equal to H minus Ts. This is expression which relates free energy, enthalpy, and entropy and temperature, right? So now suppose I want to take derivative of this dz. Okay, before taking derivative, what I can write is equal to u plus pv, right? Minus ts. So you people know already. Okay, that is excellent. Then g. So I want to take derivative dz is equal to du plus pdv plus gdp, right? Up to this is okay. And minus pds minus sdp. It is okay. Very simple. Just I do differentiation. Then okay. So now okay, this is du. So du plus pdv.
No, sir. Du is equal to dq minus dw, then pw becomes pd minus pd.
Sir, du plus pd equal to del q.
dh.
Sir,
dh yes or no?
du plus pd is equal to
du
del
plus
q.
pdv I can write dh.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, right? Because h is equal to u plus pd. So dh is equal to du plus pd. It is okay. This one. dh plus gdp minus pds minus sdp. And we know the expression already, the relationship between Cp, enthalpy and entropy. Already you've seen that, right? So we know that this is dx is equal to dh by t, right? dh by t. This implies I can write dh is equal to t dx. Yes or no? Okay. Fine. So I can write. That means I can write TDS instead of DH here, right? So where DH is present? Sorry, this one is okay, TDS. No? TDS instead of TDS I can write DH. Okay, very good. So this will be DH is equal to DH plus DDP minus DH, which instead of this one I am writing this one. Okay, minus SDP. It is okay. Very simple. Then this one will cancel out positive and negative values. Okay. Then what I can write? dz is equal to vdp minus sdp. So this is a simple way to do a derivation, right? It is okay. So finally, this is an expression which is the famous equation, that is Maxwell equation. This equation is called Maxwell equation, right? So that means suppose a constant pressure, that means P is equal to 0, right? So if I will take a constant, that is pressure is 0, constant pressure, so this term becomes 0, right? BDP term becomes 0, right? So I can write BC equal to minus SDT. Okay, and I want now dz by dt is equal to minus s. Free energy with respect to temperature. Changing free energy with respect to temperature. If temperature will change, how free energy will change. Already I have explained that one, if you remember. For solids, for liquids, how free energy is changing, because free energy is not fixed. It changes with temperature. Anybody remember how it changes? It increases or decreases? Very good. It decreases. It is moving down with temperature. If you are increasing temperature, it moves down. Right? It always decreases. Very good. So this is very interesting equation. dz by dt is equal to minus s. That means free energy with respect to temperature is negative value of entropy. But entropy can never be negative. Entropy may be 0 or it may be positive. It never negative, right? So that means If this is negative, that means this one is actually negative, right? I bring the negative sign over here because entropy is always positive; it will never negative. So you can say S is equal to minus dc by dt. You can say like that, but this is the main equation. So if you want to now plot, I want to plot it over here. Temperature and V. Okay. Right. So G versus temperature, dz by dt. So it will be minus S. So if I draw a curve, that means with temperature G is decreasing, negative. So curve will be like this. Yes or no? Is decreasing. It starts from the maximum value and it go down. But this is true. Do you think this is true? Just clearly look at the curve. Temperature is increasing, G is decreasing. What happened to the entropy with respect to temperature? Temperature is increasing. So entropy will increase obviously, temperature is increasing, entropy will increase obviously. But just have a look, the plot is like this. Is it true? No. Why? Because it is having a constant slope. Constant slope means entropy is not changing actually. You can see, entropy is not changing because it is a straight line. Straight line, there is no change in slope. A slope is entropy only here, right? In dc by dt, the slope is entropy. But this is negative, so this is going down. The curve is starting from high point, larger point to smaller point. That means this is negative is justified. But entropy always increases with temperature, right? But this is not the line now. So what will the curve? It is okay now? You can take this temperature for example. So you can see the slope is changing. You can take a temperature of this one. Again you can see the slope is different. Okay? You take a temperature of this one. You can see the slope is also changing again. Every different temperature, the slope is different. That means entropy is changing. Now this is the real curve for G versus T. That is not a straight line. For a straight line, the slope is not changing, it is fixed. Okay? And it is going down means it is increasing in a negative sense. Right? So it is also clearly shown that with increasing in the temperature, the G is decreasing. Right? G is decreasing. With increasing the G is going down. Right? Okay. So I can write what? If temperature increases, G decreases. It is clearly showing. And if temperature increases, what happens to S? Increases. Fine. So this is what temperature? 0 degree Kelvin. So you are increasing the temperature, entropy is increasing. You are increasing the temperature, free energy is decreasing. Can you tell me, okay, what is this point? What is this point saying? At this point, what is temperature is? 0. At 0, what happens? Entropy is 0, right? But still some free energy is available. Yes or no? From here to here, this is free energy available at 0 degree Kelvin, right? But G also depends upon H. G is equal to H minus Ts. G depends upon enthalpy and entropy both. But at 0, S is 0. But but you have some value of g still, so that is nothing but h. G is equal to h minus ts. This is 0, this is 0, so what is that? H. So G is equal to h. Condition is when temperature is 0. So this point shows what? The value of, so this point will show you the value of enthalpy. You people understood? Because G is depending on h and T and S. T is 0, S is 0, so only left is h. So that is h. So at 0 degree Kelvin, this point represents the enthalpy values. Brought a relationship between temperature and free energy and temperature and entropy. With increasing the temperature, entropy increases, but with increasing the temperature, free energy decreases. Right? But what happens to the enthalpy? What is the relation? If temperature will increase, what happens to H? Just have a look. Just tell me. Let me see who can answer. Here temperature excess is here. Here that means G. And the curve is like this. And this is what happens to the enthalpy when temperature is increasing. Increases. Are you sure? Can you justify? Already we have seen that. From 0 degree Kelvin, then we move to high temperature. Thermal vibrations will be there. Cp value will increase. If Cp value will increase, enthalpy will increase. But from curve.
No, sir. That will be equal to TDS.
Okay. Okay, anyways, let me show you. Your answer is right, but how you can justify that? Just have a look. So, at this temperature, enthalpy is this one. Suppose your temperature is now this one. What is the enthalpy? You got my question? At 0 degree Kelvin, your enthalpy is this one, H value. At this temperature, what will be your enthalpy? How you calculate? From the plot. How you calculate? This is
The slope will be
slope, right? G is called H minus Ts.
Yes, sir.
dc by dt, slope is entropy, right? Slope is in dc by dt, slope is entropy. What is enthalpy?
CP specific.
That is, so this is your H at 0 degree Kelvin. Suppose the temperature is now this one. You go to the temperature of this one. So you have to do what? Find now. You have to draw a tangent, right? Intersect. So H is nothing but your intercept. Right? H is your intercept and S is your slope. Straight line equation. G is equal to H minus Ts. That is straight line equation. Y is equal to Mx plus C. Yes or no? Y is equal to Mx plus C. Mx is Ts over there. C is H. Intercept. Right. So just have a look. So this is the temperature. You want to find out enthalpy H. You have to draw a tangent. And tangent is intersecting at this point. Yes or no? Suppose this is T1. So this will be your H at you understand my point? Suppose again you have a temperature of this one. T2. You want to find out H value. So what can be done? Draw a projection, then you draw a tangent again. You understand my point? Similarly, you choose a temperature of, so this is your, sorry, this one. So this is H at T2. Fine? where the tangent is intersecting this y-axis, that is your h value at that temperature. Suppose I will choose the temperature of T3. So how it will be? You draw a projection up to this line, and from this point you have to it is okay. At every temperature there will be a tangent to this curve and it will intersect the y-axis. The intersection point will tell you about the h value at that temperature. Okay? So just have a look. This is now h at T3. So it is clearly showing what? It is clear this entire curve, this entire plot is showing with rising temperature G decreases because this plot is moving now, this curve is moving now. With rising temperature S increases, and with rising temperature H, what does happen to H now? Increases. Just have a look. At 0 this is the enthalpy. Okay, this one. At T1 this is your enthalpy. At T2 this is your enthalpy, and T3 this is the enthalpy. Here it is T1 greater than T2 greater than T3. Yes or no? So always you have to remember, whenever you rise the temperature of a system or a material, entropy increases, enthalpy also increases, but free energy decreases. This is a very good justification, and you should appreciate this one. And already we have talked about free energy curve, free energy versus temperature curve for liquid and solid. But in the examination, I have given you a gas also. Now, new phase. So how it will be? Can you tell me how it will be for a gas? Quickly, just draw it. Can you draw it? Can you write it? Suppose this is for, I am taking this is solid. Then liquid will be fine. You remember? This is liquid, this is solid, because solid has low free energy at low temperature. And this point is solid. This is Tm, or you can draw the projection and then this is Tm. Fine. But what about gas? It will start from more high points. Right? So it will go like this. It will go like this and it will intersect some points. It will intersect this one and it will intersect also this one. So this will suppose, okay, let me draw it clearly. Okay, I am drawing it clearly. Suppose this is for solid, this is for liquid, this is for solid. Is intersecting that one. Okay. Let me move it like this. And this is suppose and this is gas, for example. Fine. This is solid, this is liquid, and this is gas. G versus is okay. The free energy of solid is minimum. Below this intersection point is your Tm, melting point. Very good. And when the gas will intersect the, this is liquid curve. Achha, this is liquid curve. And this is a gas curve. And the gas curve is intersecting the liquid here, right? This point. So this point will be what? The gas curve is intersecting the liquid curve. Liquid curve, this one. So this point will be? Sorry? Obviously, the boiling starts. EB. Liquid to gas. right? And this gas curve also intersects what? Solid curve here, for example. This is solid. So this part will be sublimation. Very good. Sublimation. That means the solid is becoming gas. That means your conversion will be solid to liquid, solid to gas. This is melting. This is sublimation. And liquid to gas. Boiling. Boiling? Yes. Boiling or something else? Obviously, boil, it will boil. When water boils, it becomes gas, right? Water is a liquid and it becomes gas. It's some temperature and it is. So it clearly also showing you what? If you want to find out the relationship between Cp of liquid, Cp of solid and Cp of gas, so what will be the relation? Just have a look at the diagram. This is one point, this is one point, and this is one point, right? It shows what? Enthalpy is reduced at 0 degree Kelvin. And I told you with increasing the temperature, enthalpy also increases. And enthalpy and Cp are related. If higher is the enthalpy, higher is the Cp, obviously. Or higher is the Cp, higher is the enthalpy. So, what can we say? Can you tell me? Cp of gas greater than Cp of liquid. Cp. You can write here Cp of gas greater than Cp of liquid greater than Cp of solid. Very good. Excellent. Or in other way, enthalpy of gas greater than enthalpy of it is okay. Actually, that is not exact. I am not exactly. Obviously, you can think of that. Which one will be more? Boiling will start early or sublimation will start early?
Boiling.
Yes, boiling will start early maybe, with some chance.